Hi everyone, welcome back. So this is our next video on how to go forward with using SPSS. Don't get nervous. I will walk you through the SPSS. So let's proceed. So what are we going to be doing? So we're going to use SPSS to enter raw data for analysis. So basically these are the 4 easy steps that we're going to be using. And what they are is we're going to enter raw data in data view. As you saw in the last video, there's data view and variable view. You're going to label all variables in the variable view next, and then you're going to save to make sure that all the raw data that you entered are saved as SPSS file, and you're going to do a data check for validation. Depending on what version of SPSS that you have, so you have the highest level of SPSS, you should be able to do the validation, such as premium package. But if you got maybe a graduate, sorry about that, or the lower or standard packages, you may not be able to do the data check or validation, but don't worry about it. We can visually check the data. So what are we going to be doing? So here is a sample of the raw data that you're going to be entering for homework 1. So when you open up your homework 1 in the classroom, you'll notice that there are 7 data points or 7 people. So ID in this case are IDs that are assigned to people, the age, sex, the weight of pre and post, and height of each of the persons and their satisfaction level. So what you're going to be doing is entering this in the data view. So each person, as you can see, ID 001, okay, and you are going to enter 40, sex. In this case, we're going to tell you that sex is dichotomous. 1 is female, 2 is male, and you can define these in the variable view later. So you're going to enter these data exactly like this in the data view. Next, what you're going to be doing right now, it's going to look like variable 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you're going to be doing is going to the variable view and enter in the identifications for all of them. So in this case, you go into name, type, the width, right? Decimals and labels. And it's going to be very important to make sure that you specify on the measure, such as nominal, ordinal, or scale options. So as we go through our class, you're going to understand the variable measure or level of measurements. So this is going to make more sense to you. But those are really important areas when you look at the PowerPoint and also opening up the SPSS to make sure that you make these changes and name these variables from these random variables, right, that SPSS has named them, into something meaningful. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit further. I told you that the sex is coded differently in terms of we can't just put female or male because SPSS does not like letters. We need to use numbers. So what we're going to do is go to values and put in 1 is female, 2 is male, as you can see. So go ahead and do this on your own as you're either watching this video or doing it afterwards. But it is very, very simple. And after you do this, you have to make sure that you press OK. Okay, so another thing that we need to also put a label is the satisfaction code. We noticed that when you look at the raw data, the legend says 1 is unsatisfied, right? And up to very satisfied. Okay, so you have to go through the labels do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and label them as you have done for the sex, but of course there are more levels here, and then say OK. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a minute to make sure that you understand, because I have a tendency to go a little bit fast because I'm getting all excited about you being able to use SPSS, and it'll make your lives easier, although the learning curve in the beginning is a little steep. So hang in there. Okay, so what do you see at this point? Okay, so you want to see if you can change the variable into a different variable at this point. What does that mean? Well, we can recode the variables. In this case, if we want age to be categorized into separate categories, if you have done US Census, for instance, you probably have seen that age can be continuous, meaning that you can just put your age down. So you can say, I'm 21. Or you can check off categories. So you can do that by going into what you call recode variable and then transform into different variable. In this case, as you can see, recode into different variable, and you're going to have the old and the new and put them into different categories. Also, another feature that's going to be very important to learn is sorting your data. Once you have your raw data, you want to make sure that you can sort. So go to Data, Sort Cases, and then put the variables that you want to sort. And depending on how you want to sort them, either ascending or descending, you click on that and then sort the order. And then I told you for the last part, for the validations, what's going to happen here is that you're going to have a section called validation when you hit the data menu icon. Some of you won't see the data menu here that pops up right here. However, if you do have the data validation, run it and see what happens. The most important thing here is that once you recode and label all your variables, go to File, Save As, and save your file into a name that you can recognize for later. So in this case, you can save it as homework 1 to make things easier. And all SPSS data files are, the extension is SAV. Okay, to summarize, remember to save your file, make sure everything is labeled in your SPSS after you have entered the raw data in the variable data view, and your outputs will definitely make more sense if you have these labels. So you're going to analyze the data next, but sit down and see if you can input the data, define the data in the variable view, and then be able to transform and also recode, sort your data, and lastly, if you have the option in your version, validate the data. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.